bury my sorrow in the mashed potatoes because we're so kind of true.
Bury my sorrow. Not in the taters, man. Hey.
That's some salty taters.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta let it flow.
Let it flow.
You know, let it flow. Sometimes, you know, listen.
Like the well?
My kids, yeah. Welcome to the Dragon's Well. Dude, my kids, no joke, my kids are going to be the biggest weirdos on the planet because I am one of the biggest weirdos. How I'm a pastor, I have no clue. Like how, like it is solely and purely through the grace of the Lord above that I ever like bamboozled anybody into saying, hey, this guy is mature enough to be a under shepherd at one of the Lord's local New Testament churches. Because no joke, the vast majority, if you were to come over to the house, sometimes just randomly, and it might just be Tourette's, but just randomly, I'll just sit there and I'll go, ah! Just as loud as I headphone warning, by the way. After
if you're driving, please be careful. He might scare you off the road.
You know, just random noise. And so now my child does it too.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Look, and I'm going to say this: if you haven't realized by now that there's a lot of like hollering and screaming on this show,
yeah,
and you end up in the ditch because
my
Sprite scared you, that's kind of on you.
That is for sure on you, right? When we're in that court case, I'm like, I am who I am, and they're like, you know what? He's right. He is who he is.
I mean, they knew in episode 5.
Dude, I'm telling you. Yeah, they knew early on, for sure.
Early on.
But, yeah, so if you want an intro moment, there's your intro moment. Just, listen, I think our goal is to never have a traditional intro moment.
Yeah.
Like, we tried it at the very beginning. If you go back and you look at some of the past, look at this banging at the top.
That's all good.
But if you go back and you look at some of the older episodes,
yeah.
Oh right. Man, we tried at least at the beginning.
We tried to be professional and
welcome back to the Dragon's Well. And now at this point, it's just
Sprite screaming into the microphone. Let's see how bad we can peak this.
Yeah. Well, let's see how. People are going to click off within the first 20 seconds. But anyway,
that's how he triggers Mav3rick, because when I'm editing the audio, I'm having to I'm being triggered.
But anyways, welcome back to the Dragon's Well. I'm glad that you are tuning in to listen to one sensible individual and another maniac. So, but I am one of your hosts, Sprites. I'm joined with me, my good buddy, my good pal, Mav3rick. How is thine doing today?
Well, I've been playing catch up on a lot of anime and video games, and no college work is nice. So yeah, I mean. Actually, I took a break from gaming this week to try to catch up on some Attack on Titan. Not kid-friendly. Don't let your kids watch that, please.
In the show and out of the show.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely not kid-friendly in the show.
No.
Like, oh, look, a snack. Ooh, a piece of popcorn. Just crunch. Hey, I will say it has one of the most... I was about to say spoiler alert, but it's been like years since the first like 4 episodes. So, one of the first like few episodes, when all that happened to Aaron, you're like, what? And it was gone for several episodes. And you're oh, okay.
Yeah.
And it comes back and you're like, hey, spoiler, but who cares?
Well,
we're all about triggering little words. They're hard. They're difficult.
So, let's see. On the agenda today, I look. At first.
You also finished Demon Slayer, right?
Wait, what?
You also caught up to Demon Slayer?
No, that's next.
You caught up with My Hero.
Yes.
Yeah, the boy Shiggy.
Shiggy.
Oh, Shiggy the Destroyer.
Shiggy the Destroyer. Now,
everything the light touches.
Oh, yeah.
Everything my hands touch gets obliterated.
Like some anime Lion King.
And he's one of the more terrifying anime characters.
Oh, yeah.
Because he literally wants to destroy everything.
Yes.
Right? It's one of those where it's like, some villains do it for a noble cause, Some villains are crazy, but there's still methods to their madness. Like, he is legit I think of that phrase, or I think of that line from The Dark Knight, when Alfred's talking to Bruce, and he's like, some men just want to watch the world burn.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's literally him. Like,
he's
like, look, I have the ability to destroy the surface of the planet. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to destroy the surface of the planet.
Just because I can.
Because I want to.
Yeah.
Everything's got to go.
Yeah.
I was like, first off, financially, that's not beneficial for anybody.
Well, no. Well, it was like, okay, so...
He's like, man, this is a nice house. Shigaraki.
That's like an Ultron moment. I mean, that's what Ultron wanted to do. Ultron just wanted to wipe the face of the... so what's left? A bunch of Ultrons. It's got to be boring. Yeah. I mean, that's why God created Adam and Eve, right? I mean, he looked at this void world, and he's like, What are you gonna do? Have two cows beefing with each other? Probably need some companionship. It's
you're gonna have the cows beefing, You know what I'm saying?
I ain't had enough caffeine today. Oh man. But other than that, fishy.
Fishy to me.
That's what Jonah said.
True.
Seems a little fishy. Oh man.
Smells it here.
Well, guys, welcome back to the Dragon's Well.
Absolutely.
We're on episode 12.
We are.
I think, is it 12? Wow, we got a double digits. I forgot.
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah, it is 12.
Yeah, it is 12.
And I know we kind of want to circle back to this week, and I was really hoping Ace would be able to swing in, but he's
sadly,
unfortunately, he's ducking out on vacation, so he's
didn't even take us.
No, well, I mean, if they were going to go to Japan, then I'd be pretty hacked off.
I told you about learning Japanese, didn't I?
Yeah. How's that going?
Try.
Did you quit?
No, I did not quit. Because I subscribed for a month, so I'm not gonna quit.
Okay, there you go.
I'm gonna listen. When you grow up poor, like I have, spoiler alert, all my life. When you grow up poor, like I do, you don't waste anything. Like food, you do not waste it.
True,
right? Like even if you're full, like you eat it all. Like so, my wife and I have been dieting.
Oh yeah.
But before we agreed to start dieting, we went to the store like a few days prior to that, right. And we stocked up on like things like corn dogs and stuff, like not like crazy bad stuff, but like things that are like quick and easy for like lunches. But my wife is like, hey, she said, well, since we're dieting, we don't need these things. And no joke, I was like, she went to go grab it, and I like put my hand on the box and like removed hers, and I was like, look, you don't understand. I grew up where like you don't waste a lick.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
You don't waste nothing. And in this particular case, but I do know how to say.
So going back to since we are talking about like family and kind of on a personal note, I'm gonna be honest with you. So you're gonna get a kick out of this. Oh, so I blame my overweight problem on my dad. Because, like, when my brother and I were sitting at the dinner table and we were, like, messing with each other, goofing off, we get in trouble, and he'd send my brother to his room, and he'd keep me at the table.
Oh, it's coming together.
Yeah.
And your brother's, like, super skinny, right?
Yeah, my brother's
like,
skinny, tall, skinny. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. And I'm short and fat.
That's what we call a daddy diff.
Daddy diff.
That's the daddy difference right there, dude. Hey, We talking food? We talking food here, huh? What we talking?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But
so I'm having to like bury my sorrow in the mashed potatoes because we're so gotten in trouble.
Bury my sorrow, not in the taters, man. Hey,
That's some salty taters.
Yeah, get them from my tears. Well, anyways.
Oh man.
But yeah, we Japanese things going well. You know, I've learned a few phrases, and I've heard that. And as y'all can't tell now, I hate the sound of my voice. First off, because I have this lisp, you know, and it's very noticeable to me. I don't know if you guys notice it. I'm sure that you do because it is.
You'll probably notice it now that he's pointed it out.
Absolutely, now you do. And it's one of those things where it's like, you know, obviously I can't change it. So, but I was worried that my Japanese was gonna be lispy, and they're like, "What are you trying to say?" But from what I've gathered, it's fine.
Well, you should give us a preview.
All right, what to say? Ego ga wakariwasu ka?
Not bad.
You would say "ie wakariwasen," or in our case, you would say "Hai wakariwasu ka," or "wakariwasu." All right, and so I asked, "Do you speak English?" And you would say, "Yes, I speak English."
Oh, okay,
if I go "Nihongo ga wakariwasu ka," that's "Do you speak Japanese?" And you would say, "Ie
no bueno.
ie wakariwasen," or in my case, you would say, "Hai Nihongo ga sukoshi wakariwasu. Mata jozu ja arimasen." Right? So you would say, "Yes, I speak Japanese, but I'm not very good at it."
Oh, look at you go.
So yeah, I mean,
hey.
learn some stuff. I learned how to say like, what? It's like good weather we're having.
Yeah.
Right? It's like iyo tenki desu ne, and so you would respond if it is good. Right?
Yeah.
If it is good weather, you would say so desu ne, which is just kind of like a confirmation. So I'd say it's good weather we're having, right?
Right.
You know, and you would say, yeah, it is. You know,
okay.
It is. So desu ne just
seems
me.
like
It's
a lot.
agreement.
A lot of extra to.
There's a lot of like particular because there's like 3 or 4 ways of saying the same thing.
Right.
But you know, to them, it's kind of broken into like different formalities. Right. So it's like there's a way to say things. So like
in
if
like
you
a
were
business meeting or so, like
if
professional,
they're not close to you. So like you notice in a lot of anime, a lot of times they'll address them by like their last name, right? And so like for instance, My Hero, a lot of times you'll hear them talk about Todoroki, right? The Todoroki family.
Right.
Well, but later on, you when you have both Endeavor and Shoto in the same spot at the same time, you'll hear them address them as Shoto and as Endeavor instead of as Todoroki because they're both the same, but they share the last name. Right. And that's just a formality if you're not like good buddies with them.
Okay.
You know, or something like that. So like you would say Ohayo gozaimasu, right? Which is thinking about it. Yeah, I think good morning. Right? So I'd say Ohayo gozaimasu, right? That gozaimasu at the end is a formality, right?
Okay.
So sometimes, like if you know them well, you just say Ohayo, right? Or something of that nature.
Right.
So arigatou gozaimasu. Right?
That's more formal.
It's formal.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, they just have, and like I said, a lot of phrases, they have like 4 or 5 different ways of saying that same phrase just with emphasis, right?
Right.
And so, like, even apologies, right? Like, so sometimes, like, sumimasen, right? It means excuse me, right? And then sometimes it means sorry, right?
Oh, okay.
But a lot of times it's just like in brief passing, right? Once again, it's pretty formal.
Right.
And there's some other forms of that you would add onto that phrase to make it more like, and so normally you would just kind of like bow your head a little bit and, you know, just wave at them to kind of like a nod almost.
Yeah.
To let them know, hey, you know, excuse me, you're in my way, or I'm passing by, or something like that.
Right.
But if you're like sincerely sorry, right, about like something that you did again to another individual, right, you would like bow your head and say a different phrase, which I don't know that phrase, but you would say a different phrase, and like you would legit bow yourself to that person.
Yeah.
And that's why you see that a lot of times in anime too, when they're sorry. Right?
Look, I watch the English dubs because, like, if I'm watching it, there will be some stuff that I watch. If I just can't find it, I'll watch subtitles, and I know subtitles are better. So before y'all start the hating on,
hey, there's a lot of good dub. Like Bleach dub is phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean Bleach
has a great dub. Naruto has a great dub. A lot of the mainstream ones are going to be. I'm not a big fan of Demon Slayer dub. It's all right. Tanjiro's voice kind of makes me want to punch myself in the face and the ear holes. But
I love the crow.
Oh yeah,
I love the screaming at
Tanjiro.
To the east, to the east, to the west,
to the west. Oh man!
But I'm looking forward to finishing Attack on Titan and then getting back on.
It's gonna be great.
Getting back on the Demon Slayer because I want to catch up on that too.
No, it's good. It's really good, especially this past episode. But anyways,
beyond that, I mean, you've been playing anything?
I've been playing a lot. I've been playing Unite. We're like a few games. I think I'm like 2 or 3 games away from Masters.
Oh wow!
Like we have been, my buddy and I have been grinding a lot. And so we started new accounts to help out another buddy of mine. So in Pokemon Unite, after you hit a certain rank, you can't play with others that are, like 2 or 3 ranks below you.
I think I'm still expert.
Right? So it goes beginner, great, expert, veteran, ultra, and master, right?
Oh, okay.
And so if you're like in veteran, you can't play with somebody that's in beginner.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're 2 stages down. And so if you're we're in ultra right now, and if you're an ultra, you can only play with masters or veterans. Like I can't play with anybody in elite anymore.
So y'all already passed the point to where you could play with me again in the second account.
Yeah. So and since we couldn't play with that guy, we all started fresh accounts.
Yeah.
We are on a 23-game winning streak. We've played 23 games. I have a 100% win rate.
Wow.
I am, and I had to play on my phone.
Yeah.
Right, because it's it's the only account that's not connected.
Yeah. Because the other one's merged to the
so my main account is merged to the Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And we are slaughtering people like left and right.
Well, so will that reset? So when the next season hits?
Yeah. So the season's about to reset in like 4 or 5 days. But the good thing about it is the higher rank you are when it resets, the higher rank you're going to be when you come back. Right, so you don't just go start back a beginner.
So there's no catching up, right?
Yeah. So like right now, like
I would have to bump up to like veteran or
I would. Well, no, not necessarily, but like so I would probably bounce back to about veteran. Maybe I don't think I would bounce all the way to elite. Right, if I make it to masters, I'm probably going either veteran or ultra. Yeah, is where it's going to start me off at. Right, because essentially it's looked at your score, or it's looked at your MMR and your matchmaking and where you ended off last season.
Right,
and they're like, hey, you're good enough to be here.
Yeah,
we know what you're about, And so that's what we're kind of trying to do. We doubt we're going to get our buddy of ours to masters.
Yeah,
we don't have that level of time, and he has to work, but we're going to get him as high as we can, within the context of the game, and then we're gonna see where he starts off at. So between that and then I've been playing a lot of Fantasy Star 4 on the Sega. I've been playing a lot of that, and it's hard.
Is it?
Yeah, those older games are hard.
Yeah. So what was it? Yeah. I bought something for my Switch. Star Ocean.
Yeah.
Star Ocean is hard, man.
It's the level creep is weird on it, right? And the one thing that I've noticed on a lot of these older games, I think we've discussed this a little bit in times past, but some of these older games just have like I think a lot of these older games just have a difficulty in their scaling, right? Like the way that the pacing of the game is kind of unorthodox, and so a lot of times it's like, I'm not gonna say it's not thought out, but it almost kind of comes off that way.
Yeah.
Because when you're like, okay, I've beaten this boss. I'm going to go back, and I got a new town that I can go to, which means new equipment that I can get.
Right.
I go there and I stock up on this new equipment. I go and I get ready to leave and start a new cave or a new journey with new mons that I'm going to be up against, and they hit me and almost one-shot me. And I'm like, and these are just like basic mobs. It's like guaranteed at the end of every fight in a new location, you're going to have to heal.
Well, and so, and this is going to kind of tie into our first topic, is like Breath of the Wild, or, good Lord, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. So with Tears of the Kingdom, and this will probably be most of the talking point today. I know you still don't have it.
Sadly.
But I know you've been watching a lot of gameplay and stuff, so I thought it'd be a good time to go ahead and talk about it.
Yeah.
So what I found is, and I'm going to be honest, I got tired of getting one-shotted. And it seemed like, and we're going to talk about some of the similarities and differences from the two. But it seems like this one is harder.
I think.
I know you can't get one-shotted. You cannot get one-shotted.
No, it'll put you at a quarter of a heart.
Right. Yeah. But
I know that it will. I think a lot of this is because, first off, it does seem like there's more options, and it seems like the mobs are dropping weapons and equipment at a higher rate. Also, I think there's more unique things that you have in the building aspect, where like you can actually have like weapons made from your building.
Well, and so what I found is that like with that there is more of a focus on where like Breath of the Wild, it was more I guess technical in the way that like the combat was a little more strategic.
Yeah.
But with I guess with Tears of the Kingdom, it relies on like planning, preparation, like prepping your weapons prior to going into a fight with, because again, in Breath of the Wild, you weren't going to go into a fight with a stick, but you could win that with a stick and a club or
if you had some like Dark Soul level movement mechanics, right. Absolutely.
Well, in Breath of the Wild's they're the fighting in it, and it's very similar to Tears of the Kingdom, but with Breath of the Wild it felt like I got better to the point where like fighting Lionels and things like that were not that difficult. Because I was hitting my dodges constantly. But this seems to be, like if...
and I think, to be honest with you, I think it's a good thing.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Yeah. Because you have the... Unlike most Zelda games, this is one Zelda game that I think is so unique from the others in terms of not just like some of the mechanics, but the fact that it is one of the very few times in a Zelda game where it gives you multiple ways of solving problems. Right. And a lot of other Zelda games, including Breath of the Wild at times, there were very linear ways of solving things.
Right.
Where this, it gives you, just the ability to pretty much play in creative mode.
Yeah. Just
opens up so many avenues to handling things.
Right.
I was listening to some guys the other day, and they were playing it, and one of them was kind of showing his ignorance a little bit. He's like, dude, he said, literally, I am so foolish. He said, one of the first times that you come to like one of the zip lines, he said there's like a little platform right there. He said in the background there's another zip line that you see the platform is connected to the hook. Zip by, and there I stand. I'm sitting before chat, saying, "How do I think I'm going to solve this?"
Yeah,
because he's never played any Zelda games before.
Right.
This is his very first one.
Oh,
and he's like, I don't know how to solve this. He's like, I wonder what I do. You know what he did? He put himself on the hook and he solved the problem.
But he did it in his own way.
But in such first off, it's just a very ridiculous way. Like, why? When there's literally a giant plank right there that's like, and then in the background it shows you a clip of it, like, and he made a short out of it. It's hilarious. He's like, how do you solve it? Like, he's raging. He's like, how do you solve this? I don't know what's going on. And then in the background you just see you see another one just like literally the perfect picture of how to get across it.
So this is
just standing on the platform, and he's like,
this wouldn't happen to be one of our Discord buddies, would it?
No. This guy has over 1 million subscribers on YouTube. He's a big guy. He just hit that though. He's actually a Pokemon YouTuber.
Oh, okay. And so he took a chance away from Pokemon.
Yeah, he played Tears of the Kingdom, and so was just kind of watching that, and it was hilarious.
So from the gameplay and stuff you've watched, do you think that the Switch is at the end of its life with Tears of the Kingdom? I mean, I know they've got.
I think
games
with Zelda
coming
games,
out.
probably yes.
Oh yeah.
But no, I mean, I think we're still gonna get maybe like another year or so out of it. I would say. 2 years would be a little much because a lot can happen in 2 years. But no, I don't think this is like the nail in the coffin for it.
Yeah.
But I do think this with the addition to what like PlayStation kind of brought up to the table with their like portable version of the PS5.
Right.
I think that actually adds a little bit of pressure to them. Not a lot, right? Because at the end of the day, one of the best things about Nintendo is Nintendo's going to do Nintendo, right?
Well,
there are moments where they have sweated about things, obviously.
Well, and the thing is like
at the Wii U.
Well,
but
okay,
they're
and
like,
so, and so that is essentially what this new PlayStation portable type thing is.
It is, yeah.
Now, I did see an article, and I didn't read the whole thing because I wasn't going to bring it up, but since you brought that up, I heard or read something somewhere that Sony and I think it's one of the Snapdragon processors or something are maybe looking at maybe a PSP or some kind of
I personally
new portable device.
Enjoyed the PSP. I know a lot of people didn't. I didn't have a PSP Vita, but I had like an OG PSP, and I enjoyed it a lot. I played a lot of it. Now the games were the cartridge alone, like putting the games in, was really wonky, and like the metal brace that like would lock in your. There was a lot of like mechanical issues that the PSP faced.
So I didn't know that because I didn't. That's one of the things I never.
So,
I never
like
had.
like when you would go open up the cartridge, sometimes it would like open up wrong, or
wow.
like I mean sometimes the metal brace would just like completely break to the point where it's like you would have to like maneuver the disc in, and the disc was covered in like a plastic casing, right, to make sure that there was no damage done to the disc, which by the way would never protect it.
Yeah, right.
It always it still messed up anyway. So
it wasn't the Game Boy Advance cartridge.
No. Game Boy Advance was way ahead of their time.
Oh yeah,
and what they were doing. Even Color, right, with the little bitty copper connectors.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, they were so much better. Even to this day, I mean, so much better than what was going on right there. But
well,
and that's just that. I mean, that's why I said what I said about Nintendo. Nintendo's going to do Nintendo, right? They're going to feel some pressure. Right, to hey, it's been 7 years. We need to do something.
Yeah.
Right, because it's we're on the precipice of like being overwhelmed by these others that are new and up and coming, or are newer.
Right.
So we're gonna have to do something eventually, but. I mean, let's be honest. It's been 7 years. They're working on something. Well, they're cooking.
R&D's been working on something. Yeah. I'm sure, and I'm sure COVID, had a lot to do with it, and the aftermath of COVID had a lot to do with it because we're still, a lot of y'all know I work in technology, and it still is affecting things that I didn't think that it ever would yet.
One thing I hope that they don't do too soon is start trying to merge them together with like VR stuff,
right?
Like being one. Essentially, like the game console is VR, like exclusive. I mean, obviously, we're nowhere near that yet. And
well, I don't think.
I'll be honest with you, and then this isn't from like watching Sword Art or anything like that. I don't know how much of a gamer I would be in VR. So I'm just keeping it a buck. I really don't. It's not something that's ever really like. I love the immersion of games, but I don't want to be in the game. You know what I mean? It's never been something that's like ever.
I mean, I've got my PlayStation VR, and for the most part, most of the games have been, and I'll never forget my first experience was, I got the Worlds game, the VR Worlds game, and I pop it in. Of course, the first thing we did was the water one, because you got to do the water one. You sit there, and you can see all around you, and we did like the. I think it was like off the reef, and so you can see under the water. It was really, really neat. Yeah. And then we did the deep dive one, and of course, so you're in a cage, and there's actually a little story that goes with it. I think it's probably 15 minutes, like a little 15-minute story, and you're going down to look at a submarine that had sank, and when you get down there, you notice that there's I think there's a part where you go down, there's jellyfish that come up, and they're kind of lighting things up. Yeah. And then you get down to the depth, and you're looking around, and all of a sudden, there's a great white. Oh. And it starts attacking the cage. And, man, I'm like, whoa. And so, there's that. But yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. Look, Beat Sabers, that's my jam.
And I'll say this: I'm not opposed to the idea of experiencing VR. And I'll also say this: I think a lot of my opinions come from the fact that I've never tried VR. I've never played Beat Saber. Nope, never played any type of VR system. So that
is going to change.
That I think that definitely is going to probably change my mind a little bit on it. But once again, it's just so right now where I'm at in gaming is first off a little bit of a competitive one with buddies, right? Exclusively with buddies. If I'm not playing with buddies, I'm probably not playing a competitive game.
Okay, so
or one that I can just sit back, relax, and play. Right? Okay. If I'm in a VR, I don't know how much relaxing I'm actually going to be doing.
And you're not, because if you're playing in a competitive scene, so I have I don't remember what the game is actually called, but it's like Disc Wars in Tron.
Yeah.
So there is this. I mean, you've got in one hand you've got this paddle that you catch the ball in, or the disc in, that's thrown at you, and you can see your opponent on the other end, and you're in a like a rectangular type room, and the goal is like VR Pong. I mean, you swing your hand and the ball goes to bouncing, or the disc, I think it's a disc, the disc goes to bouncing, and you're trying to catch it, and so it doesn't go in the goal behind you. And that's cool, that's super fun. The problem with the PlayStation VR is that there's a cable. And I know with like Oculus and everything.
Yeah, they got like wireless.
Yeah, right. And even the PSVR 2 still has, now they did go to a single cable, but there's still a cable.
You're still hardline somewhere.
Yeah. And so I don't want to trip over the cable, and I did. I mean, I got the Iron Man game, the Iron Man VR game, which was really cool. But the controllers, we've talked about the light balls on the end of the controllers that you use, the PS Moves, and you didn't get that as immersive as a feeling, because you want to put your hands down to fly. Right, and you can't, because you're just
shooting
like
laser beams at
you're like holding your fist with your thumbs
shooting
up.
Laser beams at.
Hey, look, the craziest one was it was a free experience. It was a Spider-Man. I think it was when Spider-Man. Portland. Yeah, right. It was when Spider-Man came out. The second one.
The Amazing
not
Spider-Man?
Yeah, not Homecoming. The
Far From Home.
Far From Home.
Yeah.
So when Far From Home came out, PlayStation, because it's Sony, because Spider-Man owns the rights to Sony.
Is it Far From Home? Is it the third one? Is there 3?
Oh, we're going to get roasted for this.
Oh, my goodness. Spider-Man's like my favorite one. I just can't think of... Now, Tom Holland's not my favorite Spider-Man.
Well, no, it's yeah, right. No, it's Homecoming, Far From Home, and then No Way Home.
No Way, yeah.
So, but it was the second one. It was the one with Mysterio. And so...
The last one's Please Pick Me Up. So I could go home.
Well, they had to bring the OGs back.
Oh, man.
So, they, okay, so...
What a great moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, it's like, you're standing on the rooftop, and you hear something. I don't remember if it was the... somebody's talking to you. I can't remember who it is. But they're like, so just... I think it was the computer, the AI computer, is talking in your ear, and it's like, okay, just jump. And so you you hit the controller to like move, and you move forward, and you can look down from the top of the building. And I mean, you are supposed to just jump. So you hit the button, and your character jumps.
Dude, I'm literally getting sick thinking about this.
Oh, yeah. And so as you jump off, and it's not the greatest graphically, but as you jump, you get that pit in your stomach. Your stomach's like a roller coaster type feeling.
You got your wife with the fan in front of you?
Until you... Well, yeah. And bless my wife's heart. Every time...
Make sure you get the full immersion.
I get... Yeah, every time...
I'm falling!
Well, every time I get up and I play Beat Sabers, I can feel the fan kick up to the third notch, because she's like, he's fixing to start sweating.
Yeah. Turn the fans on, kids.
And all this, it doesn't need to sweat. Yeah, that was another thing too. He's like, kids, y'all better watch out, because Daddy's gonna smack you in the head because he can't see what you're doing.
Samurai Maverick over here, just chopping blocks.
At least with the PSVR 2, it would go, whoa, kid in the way,
would. And pause your experience.
I mean, I've smacked a couple kids in the head just playing Beat Saber.
Oh, I thought you were just... I've smacked a couple kids in the head.
Well, I mean, yeah, I've probably done that too.
I try to do that. That's a weekly goal. So, weekly goal, Hey, look at this kid right here.
It's your weekly wig.
My weekly wig. My wildly important goal.
But one of the things I saw, getting back to Tears of the Kingdom, I keep seeing that it's a Breath of the Wild clone, and I will say this: Tears of the Kingdom has I feel like the character development and the dialogue is so much better than Breath of the Wild.
Oh yeah, and you're not in the minority there. I've heard a lot of people say that exact thing. The storytelling in it, and that's got to be one of the most. I don't even know how to describe. Like, I don't even have a word that is appropriate for this. I mean, not that I'm saying anything inappropriate, but like, what do you mean a Breath of the Wild clone? Like, that's the intention behind it. What are you talking about?
Well, here's the thing.
What are these people on?
I couldn't fuse a rocket to my shield in Breath of the Wild and then go Iron Man flying to the sky. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah.
For those that had
back in the day, they just did that with a tree and the lock in the status, the stasis.
The stasis lock.
Yeah, when they would lock it and then hit it 1,000 times and get ready to be launched to the moon on a piece of oak wood.
Right. Well, and I'll say,
flying in there like they're from DBZ.
Okay, now I have seen where people have taken out enemies with the new, I think it's the Rewind.
Yeah. There's a. So some of my favorites is like when they get ready to talk to those guys that like disguise themselves, and they like when you talk to them, they're like, "Oh, can you help me get my cat off the tree?" And then you're like, "Yeah, sure, I'll help you." And then they're like, "Ha ha, I got you!" They turn out to be like an assassin. There's like a whole compilation of it. You can look it up. Yeah. There's like a whole compilation of people that like will go around and find these guys, and like right before they talk to him, they set up like a tree or like a like a rocket or something like that is getting ready, and it's launching like right at them as he starts the conversation. And when you start the conversation, everything like
pauses.
Everything pauses
like
for
freezes,
a second and lets you have this conversation. And so the moment, and all of them like end it by their pretty much the same phrase almost, where they're like, "It's time to end you," or "You're coming with us," or something like that, And so like as soon as he gets done with the dialogue, he's like, I'm going to destroy you," and then he clicks A, and then a tree just launches him. You got like a rocket that hits them in the sternum, and they just fly off.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Like they're a member of Team Rocket, just ding.
Well, and I'll say, like a lot of that. Good, man. I mean, I'm enjoying like. Because there's times where sometimes it's a little overwhelming to the point where it's like,
well, and you got like the underground.
The
underground is crazy.
So I have mapped probably a quarter of the underground, and I still feel like I have not even scratched the surface.
I got a question for you. How do you feel? So we actually had this discussion in the Discord server last night, and there were, a few of my buddies that both have it. They were talking about it, and they're like, I love. And one of them made the comment. He was like, "I love how wacky discovering new locations is." How do you feel about that statement? He was like, I love how like. I'm trying to think of his exact words. He's like, I love how it's so fitting for this game. Right, and discovering like new places.
Uh-huh.
He said, "I love how it's so fitting for this game, and how it's so goofy at the same time, or something of that nature." And I think
so you're talking about the towers?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, something like that, where like you're able to like discover more area on the map, essentially, or something like of that nature.
Well, okay, so like the towers, I mean, it's funny because you eventually there and I can't remember how many, but there were a few towers because I've unlocked them all. There were a few towers where there were a few where you go in or you had to like go to the cave underneath the tower. And then use your ascension to go up and actually end up inside the tower because something was blocking the entrance or whatever, and so and I'm gonna be honest with you, there was one I wasn't thinking. It was later at night, and I'm sitting here and I'm looking at this tower. And I'm like, how do you get in this tower? Like, how do you get in this tower? Mm-hmm. And there's all this wood and there's all this other stuff. And I'm like trying to build this way to get all the way up to the top of the tower because I had just done a tower where you have to go in from the top. So I build and I climb and, I build some more. And I finally get up to the top of this tower to realize the top's not open.
Oh,
and then I get back down to the bottom of the tower and I'm looking at and it's like briars, like thorns.
Yeah. You just clear those out?
Oh, yeah. You just set that on fire.
And there's like a little entryway?
Yes.
Oh, my.
But when you go in, you place, it's not the Sheikah slate anymore. But you place the device on the little panel, and it reminds me of the, what was the Android bump, where you take your phones and you like bump and get contact information. Yeah. And so you pop it on there, and then
get their contact info, and you're like, oh, nice.
Well, and then you stand on the platform, and all these Octavius arms come out. It look like Doc Ock coming up from the, and it's like, and the first time, it's so funny because the first time you do it, the first tower you get to do, Link, I mean, he's shocked.
Scares him.
Yeah, because it looks like the Guardians arms that come up, and so. One like grabs and puts this harness thing on him, or this like wire harness, and another one takes his tablet and he plugs a USB-C cable into it, and then you click the button.
The upgrade.
Yeah, right. And you click the button, and this like large balloon looking thing underneath starts shaking and kind of airs up, and then rockets you into the sky.
Nice.
And so he's falling. My kids, they're like, that looks like Fortnite.
It looks like Fortnite.
And like the level of disrespect I'm hearing right now.
Put it on Facebook.
Have you ever
anybody looking for a kid? Anybody?
I mean, do you hear that music? That's Kanji Kondo. That is not the gritty.
Not the gritty. I have two kids for sale.
I've never been so just like
two able bodies.
There's those moments where like your kids do something and you know, of course, you know, we're both nerds. We're gonna most likely have nerdy kids. I mean, I got two nerdy kids at the house.
Dude, my kid's already. She's crazy at Sonic. Like, she's good at Sonic.
Well, and see, that's the thing.
She plays this little Sonic game. It's not like OG Sonic, but it's pretty much like Subway Surfer, but Sonic version.
Yeah, right.
Oh, man, she's good at it.
And that's the thing. Like, so my oldest, I mean, he really is. He's good at Fortnite. And I mean, he plays Fortnite. He actually, because of you, picked up Pokemon Unite, and he's been playing it. Nice. Because he's been asking. He's like, hey, what night can I stay up and play with y'all?
Hop on in?
Yeah. So he's wanting to play with us one night. But,
yeah, get on the squad.
I don't know, man. So let me ask you this in kind of closing on the because I know like the new mechanics for Tears of the Kingdom, you know, like the physics of the game, it still impresses me. I mean, Breath of the Wild had it, you know, Tears has it. It's, you know, logs float in the water. Grass and trees move in the wind. I've you know, there's PS5 games that can't simulate this. I think one of the games that I saw simulate this the best was Ghost of Tsushima on PlayStation 4.
Oh, Ghost was crazy. It was
amazing.
So beautiful.
Such a good game.
You know.
But
oh yeah.
So what do you think about all these? So okay, obviously the game has glitches. What do you think about people taking advantage of these duplication glitches?
Listen, I have to just keep it a buck. Power to them. I am guilty of cheating in video games before. And not only that, but doing duplication glitches in games before. Yeah. I do not have the authority to say you guys are not true gamers because you are cheating your way into success.
Well, and hey, here's the thing. You know, like so when I saw how easy it was, I was like, oh, I got to try this.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the up, down, down. You know. Uh-huh. So I tried it, and I was like, hey, this is easy. It's kind of a pain to have to do it a bunch, but it's fairly easy. But every time they fix it, it seems like there's a new glitch. And I want to know who is finding these, because I watched a video last night. This one guy's like, well, you've got to go to this one cave. And when you go to this cave, you have to turn around and stand in this exact GPS location. And he had the location on the YouTube video. And he's like, you have to have a multi-shot bow. And you have to attach this item to the multi-shot bow, and you have to shoot it at this angle or something like that. And I'm like, who?
Like, why? Yeah.
I mean, like, who figured this out?
What kind of?
Who was in this exact location doing this exact same thing? I mean,
that's crazy.
And then realized, hey, I got, you know, 6 diamonds because I shot this multi-shot arrow diamond at the, you know.
What kind of Reddit level, you know? What is it? It's not Reddit. What's the other one? That's not that's a lot stranger.
I don't
4chan.
4chan?
Yeah, whatever 4chan. Yeah.
I don't do 4chan. 4chan.
4chan. Swear. Listen, I had a friend put it this way before. Maybe I shouldn't. But he said 4chan is pretty much like Reddit, but it's a little different. It's a little bit, you know, a little bit nerdier for sure.
Oh, okay.
In some ways, but one time, I don't know if you remember this. This was a few years ago now. Shia LaBeouf, when he was kind of going off the deep end and did all of his stuff, for some reason, just randomly went live on his live feed, and all he did was face in like a very like mysterious place. Like, nobody knew where he was at. Nobody could find where Shia was. But he just went live, and it was just a picture, or it was just a live stream of an American flag that he had, and it was just flying in the wind. 4chan and all of their omniscience, based off of this was a series of like 20 days.
Right.
He's nonstop feed for like 20 days. Determined where he was based off of the lunar cycle and the stars and where the sun was and how it set, and figured out where he was at, and on live stream went up there, took off the American flag, showed it, and left.
Oh man,
that's
like, creepy.
And you know what they did? My buddy said this once. He's like, dude, he said, literally, he said, if the people of 4chan grouped together, he said this world, there'd be nobody to stand up against the minds of 4chan.
Wow.
He said it's literally like weaponized autism. I was like, oh no.
Oh no.
Not weaponized autism. He's like, you know, because at the end, I know exactly what he meant by that statement, but you know, like, so, you know, if you've ever experienced somebody with autism before, oftentimes they excel at like something very specifically. Right. So like, for instance, somebody could be like extreme. I don't know if you've ever seen like The Good Doctor. Right? It's a show on like ABC or something like that, where like he's extremely good. Like he's an extremely good doctor, but you know, he has autism, so he's like extremely like awkward when it comes to social interactions, and doesn't take up on those cues very often. His bedside manner's not very good. And so, but he excels at this specific thing, and that is medical care. Like he memorizes everything, and you know, he's a phenomenal doctor, right? It's a really awesome show, and so he does some really awesome stuff in the show. But I just got to thinking about that, and it's like, these guys, if they would just put some effort into doing something like productive, instead of just tracking down Shia's live stream, that's shutting it down.
That's hackers, man.
That's crazy.
If they would just focus on
doing good,
yes.
Oh man, it would be great. It'd be great.
I don't know.
But so I do have something. And I know we're getting a good bit, but a couple things. And I'll kind of blow through these pretty quickly on previous statements. So last episode we got to talking about Target, and the hit that it's taking. It's still taking a hit.
Oh yeah,
the stock's still going down pretty good. So and I made the statement then. To me, logically, it doesn't make sense that there would be that a corporation this big and this successful would not be able to have the foreknowledge and predicting that their stock was going to take a drop the way that it did. Right. And as I was digging into it a little bit,
you can't see all these companies making decisions.
We literally just had one last month.
Yeah,
and it's like, and we're like, I don't pay attention to those things very often. Yeah, like it's like I don't check the stock market and a bunch of other stuff.
Right.
Maybe should, but at the end of the day, I don't. It's just not so. But good and well that probably a lot of investors and a lot of people that are higher up in Target's industry are probably playing the stock market.
Yeah,
right? The vast majority of successful business people do. Right.
So,
in saying all that, just logically it didn't make sense, and so I got to doing a little digging, and there's actually what is essentially the woke credit score.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. I think it's the ESG or something of that nature. Mm-hmm. Right. Where it is a woke credit score, and and kind of right. And what it is it's a rating for certain corporations, and the rating increases or decreases based off of the amount of move or the amount of promotion and involvement you are in essentially all things that are woke.
Oh,
right?
okay.
They don't outright say, this is the woke movement, right? A lot of times they'll talk about like the environmental and things like that to mask what it really is. But essentially, it is what a lot of people are just calling the woke credit score.
So
that's
everybody's
what it is.
trying to catch up with Disney.
And so, yeah. Well, and that's why Disney does a lot of the stuff that they do, so that they can get that credit score up.
Yeah.
And what happens is these investors that are heavily sided on that side, right, or make a lot of money siding with the woke community. So what they'll do is they don't look at stock or anything else. They just literally look at that credit score and see how involved they are in these movements.
Right.
And if they begin to tank, or if they're lackluster in supporting, or getting this credit score up, then essentially they're blacklisted.
Yeah.
Right. And so they withhold funding and investments and whatnot. And so I think DeSantis there in Florida,
I really like him.
actually passed a bill or something like that in Florida that, and I don't know all the details, so I encourage you go and you do the reading yourself. But I believe that he's trying to get rid of this the best way that he can, the most constitutional way he can,
right?
So that it doesn't cost these businesses, because what happens as well is if your credit score tanks to a certain degree, well, not only will they revoke their investment, but they'll start bombarding you with woke protests. Right, they'll start activists and things like that will start
mob come after you.
Will
right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so that's so I can only imagine that maybe Target's scores were like, and so it's like you be crucified with.
But Target for the most part is fairly woke, and
they've always been a little bit more progressive compared to, say, someone like Walmart.
Yeah, right. Now maybe it was dropping lower than their yearly expectations for.
But it's just. But it's never been that bad, though.
Well, and so that kind of ties into something, because so yesterday Apple had their big kickoff with WWDC, and for those that don't know, WWDC is a big developers conference. I know a lot of people look at it as, hey, what are we getting new with the iPhone, the iPad, things like that, which.
So almost like E3, but for
right, and they always, it's neat because they always had it, prior to the week of E3, and
RIP E3.
Yeah. Well, thank goodness we have the what is it, the summer game fest.
Yeah. Summer game fest.
Well, look, and he's Jeff is trying to do his best to create another like digital form of E3, and it's great. For what it is, but you don't have the big E3 sign up like you do normally with like Nintendo showing up, and so but yesterday WWDC kicked off. Usually Apple doesn't show off new products. They actually had a lot of new products yesterday. I know that MacBook Airs, which we use to record this podcast and create our podcast, they work great, and they announced a 15-inch yesterday. But one of the big key features at the end, which they went a whole 20 minutes talking about it, got the hype up, and then they dropped the price on everybody. It was at $3,500. But this is what I want to say about that. As cool as the technology is, and as neat as the presentation that they put together was, and with Apple, usually if they present something a certain way, most likely, 9 times out of 10, it's going to work. But it's like used to. So during the presentation, Tim Cook said, "Hey, to talk to you a little bit more about this, I want to introduce, I want to have Bob Iger come out, which is the CEO of Disney." Yeah. And used to, it's like, "Hey, Disney's here," and you would normally get excited, but I just had like Again, it was like one of those Spider-Man jumping off the roof and swinging things. I had a pit in my stomach. Like,
something's fixing.
Yeah, right. Now, what they showed off, there was a. I don't know. Did you watch it?
No.
So they had this.
I did see the little headset thing. But.
Okay, so they had this scene where, like, as you're watching The Mandalorian, you could either watch The Mandalorian, just like normal on a normal screen, or you could do. They have these like, I guess they're like filters, so that you can change the environment around you, so you can't really see what's. So the neat thing was the filter that they use that Disney has for the Disney Plus app. When you're watching The Mandalorian, you can actually sit in a speeder on Tatooine, and you can look over, and there's the big Jawa, tank over there, moving and stuff. But that's in that kind of stuff is in the background, so you can watch The Mandalorian like that with the two suns in the back.
Yeah,
that was pretty neat, and so I know Disney's got, they do catch a lot of, and we give them a lot of bad PR on here, but things like that, I mean, now is it worth $3,500 for a headset? No,
I agree.
I don't think Apple's going to sell very many of those. Maybe they will. I don't know.
Well, I mean, that's the thing too, though. Is like there's a lot of times where like I'll look at things like that, and you're like, why would you ever drop that amount of money? But people find the means to.
Well, and here's here's the thing. If I didn't have a computer, if I didn't have a TV at the house, if I didn't have a surround sound, and I was in the market to buy all of this stuff. Yeah, $3,500 doesn't sound too bad, because I mean, by the time you buy a really nice OLED TV, and you buy a surround sound, and you buy, a computer, you're going to drop $3,500 plus.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
The headset makes sense. I'm. But
yeah. Well, I do have one other thing that I thought, kind of going along with, I don't know, with this idea of trying to make it change, I guess, would be the right way of presenting it. I don't know their intention behind this.
Yeah.
But I saw this theory, and then I got to confirming it and got to looking it up, and it's so crazy. I don't know if you've realized it or not before, but I was watching watching a separate podcast, and they were speaking on this about how they're replacing a lot of like redheaded characters with African American characters. And I got to thinking about all the characters that were changed.
Yeah, right.
That are redheaded, that are, ginger characters. And they get recast as, right, and one of the most, recent ones, you look at Ariel. Right?
Yeah, right.
Look at Mary Jane and Spider-Man.
Okay.
Cast with Zendaya.
Yeah.
Wally West and Flash. Kid Flash.
Okay.
They got in the Flash TV series. He's normally redheaded.
Yeah, right.
He's not.
Right. Yeah.
Starfire in the Titan series.
Okay. I hadn't watched the Titan series.
She's normally redheaded.
Mm-hmm.
Is not. Iris and the Flash. She is normally redheaded.
Mm-hmm.
Is not.
Yeah,
and
I did watch enough of the Flash to
and I'm telling you, the list goes on and on. There was like more than like 30 individuals, like 30 characters.
I never really thought about that.
That are initially in the comics, and it's not just like or like in previous cartoon shows, or you name it. They're like, and let me see if I can find a list here, and I can make some. And I thought this was just so interesting, right? And once again, I don't know if there's like an agenda behind it. I doubt it, right? But I understand it is just like.
Well, I mean, I could see gaming, like it was just a couple.
Like Catwoman, I think it was also originally supposed to be. And so to kind of show you how far back this goes too, Catwoman I think is supposed to be redheaded if I'm not mistaken.
I think no. I think Selena Kyle was always blonde.
You He could be right on that.
Yeah,
Either that or maybe it's Batgirl. Is it Batgirl?
Yes. Now Batgirl. Yeah.
She's redheaded.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I was about to say, then you have that. You have Catwoman cast as Halle Berry. Which I thought did a wonderful job with as Catwoman, but. Still,
but they did because they did release the photos of the Batgirl TV series or movie that never actually is going anywhere, and they did replace her with. That's interesting.
I'm telling you, it is such a strange. Let me see if I can get a list for you.
Yeah, and see, I never thought about because you're right. Wally
West,
Wally West.
Iris as well, which is supposed to be Flash's love interest, right?
Right.
Ends up becoming not so love interest, it ends up, still his love interest, but it's weird. It's so strange that like these and power to them, I guess. I really don't know, but it's just.
Well, while you're looking at that, I'm going to throw this out there. For those that bought the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2 on Nintendo Switch, apparently the DLC, they have officially said that the DLC is not coming now.
What is it?
The Knights of the Old Republic 2.
Oh, really?
For Switch, yeah. They said that they had originally announced it with free DLC coming. And since that did not happen, they are, I believe, giving away a free game. You'd have to go to Aspire's website and see. And then a little bit more news. Super Mario movie, the DVD and Blu-ray release, I believe, may have come out today, or it may be coming out next week. And then for those that play Stardew Valley, the creator has teased the next big update. Now, I am by no means a Stardew Valley player. I've never heard you talk about it, so I assume you're not.
No, I'm not. But a lot of the guys in our Discord also plays that as well.
Really?
Yeah, I think two.
Really?
2 or 3 of them.
Okay. I mean, I tried it. I bought it. I downloaded it, and I tried it, and I just didn't. I know. Dude, I figured you played it because
this is crazy.
Sprites, because of the sprites.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things where I think I was just caught up in playing other things.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. I'm just scrolling through. And there's just the list, man, goes, so they did with Batwoman, right? They recast her.
Right.
They did April O'Neil.
Oh, yeah. They just did
the newest cartoon animated show.
Well, okay, but they also did it. Have you seen the movie? Have you seen the movie trailer for the new Ninja Turtles? It's atrocious. I'm not. They're running Ninja Turtles, man.
Commissioner James Gordon.
Oh yes, they did. Now he was not a redhead, but yes, they did.
He's fairly redheaded right there.
Oh, okay, yeah. In the comics, he was. Yeah, that's right. It depends.
Heimdall from
Heimdall?
Thor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because in the
which I'm not gonna lie, I don't mind that one as much because I
like Idris Elba.
Yeah, I like Idris Elba a lot.
But. And that so Heimdall, regardless of which, I think in Norse mythology he was a redhead also, because the comic books are closer to Norse mythology than the movies are actually. Which they made an atrocity out of Ragnarok, but.
I guess Josie from Josie and the Pussycats.
Oh,
she was redheaded.
Yeah,
got recast. Isaac from Castlevania, he's redheaded, and he got cast. Which Isaac, by the way, is like my favorite character.
He did. Yep.
Who else? I'm telling you, it's just one of those things where it's like it's so strange to me that it's. At the end of the day, there's a lot of them. Like I really enjoy Zendaya. I thought Zendaya did a great job.
Yeah, no.
And so by no means don't take this as like It's like no, we don't need any race swapping. No, that's not what I'm saying. But once again, Heimdall, I really enjoyed him.
Yeah, Idris Elba's a fabulous actor.
Electro is another one.
Oh yeah, right.
Jamie Foxx, fantastic. Really enjoy him. Maybe not in that role necessarily, but like great all around. You know what I mean?
I wasn't a big Electro fan, but I didn't like the way they did Electro at all. Like they kind of went
yeah, dude, they got on like Jimmy Olsen.
Oh yeah, Jimmy Olsen was redheaded. Yeah,
Jimmy Olsen got changed once again. Iris West, Hawk Girl, got changed. Yep. One was Cyclone.
Hawkman was blonde. Because I know they did that to him too, but
you know what I mean. It's just like let me see.
That's crazy,
and it goes on and on. Like there's more. I would say there's close to like 50 people that were altered, like were either race swapped or gender swapped, and all of them, the vast majority of them are redheaded, and then they end up getting switched. Which is so strange to me.
That's interesting. Yeah, I never...
And it might just be a more practical reason, right? Because once again, I cannot stress this enough. I'm not trying to make no political point here. Because at the end of the day, I don't know what we're trying to say here, or what this is even.
But there's a trend. I mean,
there is a running trend, right? And to the point where there's a lot. And that might have even been on like Joe Rogan's podcast or something like that. I'm not sure, but it's at least to the point where like people are bringing it up and it's coming to mind.
Oh, that's interesting.
That this is taking place, and I think there might just be a practical reason for it, and I think one of the reasons might just be the fact that finding redheaded characters or redheaded people alone is like very difficult. Let alone to be able to fulfill this, because you might have somebody that's a redheaded actress, right? But they don't match the form.
Or maybe they don't.
Like maybe they're supposed to be like stoic, and then you get Emma Stone, which by the way,
right?
I liked Emma Stone. I thought she did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
In the Amazing Spider-Man series.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's like you're going to cast her as Hawk Girl. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
It's like, come on.
Right.
So, like, I get it. I mean, there might just be, like, a reason behind it. I think it's just interesting to me. Like, when it was one of those, like, conspiracy moments where I was like, doo, 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 doo.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like, so if you're redheaded, they're coming for you. So, that's the moral of the story right there. They're coming to take your job, all right? They're coming for you, but...
Well, look, I got a couple more things. So this actually posted yesterday, so I'm kind of glad we waited a day to record this because Nintendo has finally decided to expand the Game Boy Color library and the Super NES library.
Nice.
So we are getting Kirby Tilt and Tumble. So my kid will be happy about that. And we're getting Blaster Master Enemy Below for Game Boy Color. For the farming sim people, because we don't have enough farming sim stuff on the Switch.
No, we don't.
We're getting Harvest Moon,
which
Harvest Moon was
good.
Yeah. So I mean, at least it's a
top tier simulator.
Let's see. I think this says, this may only be. This is the Namco Famicom only title, so this is something that they only got, and now we're finally getting it. It's Mystery Tower, the Tower of Babel.
Huh.
So
I don't know if I'll be playing that one.
That's interesting.
Just knowing based off how the Tower of Babel ended.
Yeah, we just had a Bible lesson at the house about that with the kids. So.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth will offer a high degree of freedom on PS5. What they're talking about is not only has they kind of gave an update about the game and how progressively it's smooth the progression is going compared to the last one, because we had a little it took a while to get it out. And it sounds like that there's going to be a little bit more free roam from the other one that came out. remake,
cool.
The first remake, and man, beyond that, I with the end of the week, I think we're kicking off Summer Game Fest, so we'll have to come back sometime next week.
Yeah,
I'd say middle to end probably, because I'm hoping that Nintendo will.
There's another game that now I'll name drop it here, but I don't know much about it, and it's something that our friend group in general are looking into doing. It's in beta right now on Steam. It's called Wayfinder. And it looks smooth. I've watched only maybe 30 minutes of gameplay on it.
Yeah.
It looks really, really smooth. It's free to play. It is an MMO. It's like an MMO roguelike, kind of, and in a sense, where it's like a dungeon crawler mixed with like an MMO experience.
Yeah. I saw this.
And so like the there's not as much like customization and stuff as like you would find in most MMOs, but I think it's supposed to be like a light version of an MMO. It's not like heavy, like you spend 8 hours, on gearing up.
Yeah.
So yeah, it looks good.
Oh, it does look fun.
It as of right now, it's gonna be only 3 players per party, which is kind of low. I know, but I think that's also due to like how big the dungeons are.
Yeah,
the dungeons are not very big, like not just in terms of like or like how many mobs you're going to be fighting, but like literally the space is not very big.
Well, and so you're really neat.
It's crisp. The guy that I was watching, he gave like a very honest opinion on it. He's like, it plays smooth. He said, but to me, the controls are a little like very basic. He said, so it seems like it's going to be something that like the novelty wears off pretty quickly on.
Oh,
but to me, that's not something that I necessarily is like a make or break for me, because it's like if I enjoy it, no matter how simplistic the gameplay is on it, I'm going to enjoy it.
I guess
most of the time, to me, like the more simple the game, the more I'm going to enjoy it, because then I can focus on other aspects of it.
Y'all are going to make me get a gaming PC, aren't you?
Probably. You keep hanging out with a bunch of PC gamers, Which right now we've been Switch gamers, man.
Yeah.
Getting that Unite score up, but I'll tell you this:
you sticking with that mobile game.
When I finish getting Masters, I'm probably gonna go and start a Pokemon Nuzlocke.
Oh, there you go.
Start rocking through a Pokemon game.
Yeah.
But that's about all I got.
Well, I got one more. This I got a great game. I think it's gonna be possibly Sprite's favorite game of the year.
Yeah.
I think he probably will choose this over even Tears of the Kingdom if he ever gets it. I know you're excited. Game of the year for Sprites.
Yeah, probably.
Publisher Outright Games just revealed this, and I know you're a big fan. Paw Patrol World.
What? Like an MMO but for Paw Patrol?
Paw Patrol.
Is that like Club Penguin but Paw Patrol version?
It is an open world
adventure.
It's
hey, no joke. One of hey. At one point or another, I ain't no shit. Listen, I'm sitting up.
Look, no, wait. Nintendo Life says, and I'm gonna give them this
game of the year.
Paw Patrol World brings open world to Adventure Bay this year.
Let's go. Help Ryder and the gang. Zuma, Chase, Sky, and the other ones that aren't as popular. Marshall, Diego. Diego's not on there. It is me and Dora and Swiper.
There you go.
And Boots. What in the world? Hey. If they don't have the superpowered versions of them, I don't want to play it. If I can't go Super Saiyan Doggo, I don't want to play it. All right? Oh, what in the world is that? what kid is playing an open world like? What? Can you imagine the idea of coming up with a game like that? They're like, "Hey, got a brilliant idea.
I got a great
Everybody
idea.
loves open world, but what about an adventure bay?"
I mean, I would have taken Bikini Bottom.
If I was on, if I was on the board, I would just look at him and not say a word. Just look at him until he felt awkward enough and realized just how ridiculous that statement is, man.
Well, but I mean, what?
I know, and I know there's going to be kids that are going to play it. I know there is.
Oh man, this game's going to sell like crazy.
Oh my goodness, there is. We need to come up with a kids game. Boom roasted. Oh, these kids, man. You know.
Oh,
listen, I'm not the one with drool on my pillow, okay? What's up? over there, Adventure Bay. You know, out there sounding like Porky Pig at the end of the show, dude. That's all, folks. Come on now. But mom, it's Adventure Bay. What? You kidding me? Be quiet, Billy. Go play with some sticks. Good night. Yeah.
Look.
Go rub two rocks together like you're Wiccan, all right? How about that? Hope that some magic comes from it. Just get off your tablet, kid. Go get some vitamin D outside, dude. Go enjoy the sunlight.
I'm speechless.
Why am I roasting kids right now? Why am I going in on some kids, man? I'm sorry to all the kid listeners. If we have any,
man,
gotta go in on somebody.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And the target audience for this game, I hope is not. I hope is kids, but anyways.
Yeah, if any of the guys from our Discord server are playing this, don't tell us, please.
Yeah. Oh, you will be roasted. You're gonna be roasted real good.
You go and be a closet Paw Patrol player.
Anyways, I think we do need to wrap up before I say things that I'm gonna regret even more. Just until I go to. I'm gonna move from the kids to the grandparents, man. Next, I need to get out of here. But
well, you did say, never mind.
We still appreciate you guys.
Hey, look, everybody that listens to the podcast, we appreciate y'all so much. And you know, y'all don't. And I think I forgot this at the beginning. Y'all don't forget to follow us on Twitter. I am working on a Facebook page as well. I don't really do Facebook, but Sprites is going to help me out with all that. Yeah. And we're trying to grow, guys. And Sprites and I were talking earlier about looking at our goal for the year for the podcast and what kind of content we want to bring to you guys. And you know, it's important that we bring family friendly content and also
just don't bring your kids because I will roast them. I need to dial it back, man. I apologize to all the kids.
But
you guys are
look,
you're growing.
Yeah, I mean, you come on.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with playing with sticks.
No, I played with sticks.
Yeah,
I always poke my eyes out.
I used to like sword fight with them.
Yeah,
you know.
We did that
so
until we started sharpening them and then shooting them with like bows. Yeah, because we had a fort, and so I remember standing there one day and like we were shooting them down at them, and of course ours were dull, and my cousin thought it would be a good idea to start sharpening them and shooting them back, and it stuck in the side of the fort, and I was like, okay, now it's time to quit playing.
Time out. Yeah. I call times. Arrows still whizzing by you.
Yeah. Like, you can have the fort. We give up.
I think the Lord they have stormtrooper aim.
Yeah, it was bad, dude. Yeah, he would have hit me in the leg before he hit me in the face.
Oh, my leg! I used to be an adventurer like you, but then I took a nail to the knee by my cousin.
And now I play Paw Patrol.
Now I play Paw Patrol. Oh, man. Just better pray you're not redheaded. All right. Anyway, so we need to get out of here. Love you guys. Thank y'all so much for listening.
Hey,
we appreciate y'all.
And like we always do, you want to close us in prayer?
Yeah, we need some prayer. I need some prayer right
after
now.
This.
anyways, guys, we're going to close in a word of prayer. And let's go to the Lord. Father God, thank you so much for today. And we thank you for this time that we have to be able to have this podcast and to be able to hopefully get it to grow. And God, we ask that you just bless our efforts here. God, we ask that we can promote a friendly environment for everybody. Make sure that we can get out friendly or family-friendly content because those are few and far between today. Lord, to also be able to continue to pursue our enjoyments as well as to give you honor and glory in all of these things as well. God, we love you and we thank you and we pray for all of those that are listening. We ask that your will be done in their life, that peace, guidance, comfort, healing, whatever it is and whatever they need, Lord, we ask that your will be done in their life. And God, we love you and we thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Guys,
thank you guys.
Y'all have a great week.
Yeah.
Peace out.
Enjoy your rocks. That's all, folks.